Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect it. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, things just don't go your way. You feel stuck, frustrated, or even like you're taking one step forward and two steps back. I'm here to tell you, you're not alone, and there's a way out of this. First, let's talk about why this happens. It's not that the universe is against you. It's simply that challenges are part of the journey. The key is what you choose to do in those moments of struggle. How you respond in those moments is what defines your future. So here's exactly what you can do when nothing seems to be going your way. It's so easy to ignore what's going wrong, to try and push through the discomfort, or to pretend everything is okay when you know it's not. But the truth is, you can't move forward if you don't first acknowledge where you are. If you're in a tough spot, frustrated or overwhelmed, it's okay to admit that. This doesn't mean you're giving up or failing. It means you're being honest with yourself about what's going on. When we acknowledge the struggle, we stop fighting against the reality of the situation. It's not about being defeated or feeling sorry for yourself. It's about being real. You can't fix what you refuse to face. Denying where you're at only keeps you stuck in the same place. So take a moment, no matter how uncomfortable it might be, and just sit with where you are. Recognize the emotions you're feeling, whether it's stress, anxiety, disappointment, or just plain exhaustion. Give yourself permission to feel it, because when you acknowledge the struggle, you give yourself the power to move through it. You bring clarity to the situation, and from that clarity, you can start making decisions that will help you get to where you want to be. It's the first step in turning things around, and it's absolutely necessary to do before you can begin to make progress. When life feels like it's falling apart, it's natural to focus on all the things that aren't going the way you want. But that focus can keep you trapped in a cycle of frustration and helplessness. Your mind starts to obsess over everything that's wrong, every missed opportunity, and every setback. And the more you focus on it, the more it grows. But here's the thing, what you focus on expands. So if you only focus on the problem, you're going to get more of the same. The real power comes when you decide to intentionally shift your focus. Take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What in your life is actually working? Maybe it's something small, like a conversation with a friend that brightened your day, or a little victory at work that went unnoticed. It doesn't matter how small. What matters is that you start seeing the good, even when things feel overwhelming. By shifting your focus, you begin to train your mind to seek out solutions rather than dwelling on obstacles. You stop getting consumed by everything that's going wrong and start recognizing even the tiniest signs of progress. This shift in perspective doesn't erase the challenges, but it allows you to see new possibilities and opens the door for creative solutions. You'll begin to feel less defeated and more empowered, because focusing on what's going right helps you see that you have more control over the situation than you might have thought. If you want to get unstuck, change your focus. Don't let your mind stay fixed on what you can't change. Instead, look at what you can influence and put your energy there. It's incredible how much a simple shift in perspective can create a ripple effect in your life, bringing momentum and a sense of direction. When you're stuck in a rut, sometimes the most effective thing you can do is change your surroundings. Our environments, whether it's the people we're around, the space we're in, or even the daily routine we follow, have a huge impact on how we think, feel, and act. If everything around you feels stagnant or draining, it can be hard to break free from that energy. That's why changing your environment, even in small ways, can be a powerful catalyst for shifting your mindset and creating momentum. This doesn't mean you have to make a massive life overhaul. It could be as simple as rearranging your desk, stepping outside for some fresh air, or switching up your routine. A change of scenery can give your mind a break from the monotony, and allow you to see things from a new perspective. Sometimes just moving to a different room or taking a walk in nature can be enough to break the cycle of frustration and give you the space to think more clearly. If your current environment is filled with negativity, take charge of it. If you're around people who drain your energy or constantly remind you of your challenges, it might be time to distance yourself, even if just for a little while. Surround yourself with people who inspire, support, and encourage you. Positive energy is contagious, and when you're in an environment that uplifts you, you're more likely to feel motivated to take action. The physical space you occupy also plays a role in how you feel. A cluttered, chaotic environment can add to feelings of stress and overwhelm. Consider tidying up your space or making it more comfortable and inviting. When your surroundings reflect calm, order, or even creativity, it has a direct impact on your ability to think more clearly and feel more at ease. Changing your environment isn't just about the physical space. It's about shifting the energy and the patterns you're used to. Breaking out of a routine or stepping into a new setting can be enough to disrupt the negative thought loops and refresh your mindset. You'll be surprised at how much power you have to change your outlook just by shifting the space you're in. When everything feels like it's going wrong, sometimes it's not just your mindset that needs a change, it's your environment. The environment around you has a subtle but powerful impact on your thoughts, energy, and overall well-being. If you're stuck in a place or situation that feels draining, frustrating, or uninspiring, it can be incredibly hard to get out of that rut. That's why shifting your environment in whatever way possible can create an immediate change in how you approach the situation. You don't have to move to an entirely new place or take a huge leap. Start small. If you're working in a cluttered space, clear it up. A tidy environment can do wonders for your mental clarity. If you're stuck at home and feeling like your space is contributing to your frustration, try working in a different room or even outside if possible. Sometimes just being in a different physical location can help break the mental barriers that keep you stuck. Even your daily routine can be an environment of its own. If you feel like you're stuck in the same repetitive patterns, break them. Change the order of your day. Even if it's just small tweaks, get up earlier, take a different route to work, or shift around how you approach tasks. This change can help reset your brain and shift you into a more productive or positive mode. Being around people who are constantly negative or critical can also shape the way you feel. If you're in an environment where there's constant tension or negativity, it's hard to stay motivated or positive. Sometimes the most empowering thing you can do is remove yourself from these situations, even if temporarily. Seek out people who bring you energy, offer support, and help you focus on solutions rather than problems. If you can't physically get away, you can still control how much you engage with these influences. Your environment is more than just the physical space around you. It's the people you interact with, the energy you surround yourself with, and even the thoughts you let take up space in your mind. Shifting the energy of your environment, whether by changing physical space, routine, or the people you're surrounded by, can immediately alter your mental and emotional state. By making small changes, you open up the possibility of new ideas, perspectives, and solutions. You can't always control the big challenges in your life, but you can control the space in which you navigate them. When things aren't going your way, it's incredibly easy to fall into the trap of blaming others or external circumstances. It feels good in the moment to point the finger at someone or something else and say it's their fault, or I never had a chance because of that situation. But here's the harsh truth. As long as you stay in the blame game, you're giving away your power. Blame keeps you stuck in a victim mindset. And when you're stuck in that mindset, you're not in control of your own life. It's human nature to want to explain why things went wrong, especially when they feel out of your control. But here's the thing. Blaming others doesn't change anything. It doesn't fix the problem, it doesn't make things better, and it certainly doesn't move you forward. In fact, it keeps you trapped in the past, in a state of frustration or resentment, instead of empowering you to find a solution. When you stop blaming others, you take back control of the situation. You accept responsibility. Not for the actions of others or the circumstances you can't change, but for how you choose to respond. Yes, things might be difficult. Yes, others may have hurt you or let you down. But the only thing you can control is your own actions, your mindset, and your next steps. It's about shifting from a mindset of, it's not my fault, to, what can I do about this? When you stop blaming, you open yourself up to creative solutions and new possibilities. You stop wasting energy on things you can't change and start channeling that energy into something you can control. Instead of holding on to resentment or frustration, you move into a space of growth and action. This doesn't mean you have to pretend everything is perfect or that you don't have valid reasons for feeling upset. Acknowledging your feelings is important. But once you've processed those feelings, it's time to release them and focus on what's next. The blame game is a trap, and it keeps you from moving forward. The moment you stop blaming, you free yourself to take responsibility for your own path and create the change you want to see in your life. When everything around you feels chaotic, it's easy to feel like you need to constantly be doing something, anything, to fix the situation. You want to get ahead, make progress, or at least feel like you're moving forward. But sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to pause. I know it sounds counterintuitive, especially in a world that values constant hustle and productivity, but giving yourself permission to stop is actually one of the most powerful actions you can take. When you're in the middle of a struggle, your mind and body often become overwhelmed by the pressure to keep pushing. And when you're overwhelmed, you can't think clearly. You make mistakes. You get stuck in the same thought loops. You become reactive instead of proactive. Embracing the pause isn't about giving up. It's about creating the space you need to reset, recharge, and reassess. It's about taking a step back to breathe and give yourself the mental and emotional break that can lead to breakthroughs. The pause allows you to slow down enough to listen to your own thoughts, to reflect on what's working and what isn't, and to find clarity in the midst of confusion. During this time, you may discover new perspectives or realize that some of the things you were chasing weren't really aligned with your values or goals. Or you may just need to allow yourself some time to recover from exhaustion, physical, mental, or emotional. When you push too hard without resting, you burn out, and that leads to even more frustration and feeling stuck. Taking a pause can also help you avoid making impulsive decisions out of desperation. When you're not clear-headed, you can easily react in ways you later regret. Giving yourself the space to pause can be the difference between making a rash choice and making a thoughtful, well-considered one. By embracing the pause, you create room for new possibilities. You allow your mind to relax enough that creativity and insight can flow freely. The pause isn't just a moment of stillness. It's a time to gather strength, regroup, and come back with more energy and a clearer perspective. Sometimes the best way to move forward is to first step back and give yourself the grace to stop for a while. When everything feels overwhelming and you're stuck in a place where nothing seems to be working, it can be paralyzing. You look at the mountain of tasks ahead of you or the obstacles in your path and wonder how you'll ever get through it all. In those moments, the idea of making big changes or accomplishing large goals can feel impossible. But here's the thing, progress doesn't always come from giant leaps. It often comes from one small step. When you feel frozen by the weight of everything that's wrong, take just one small action. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to solve everything. What matters is that you're moving even in a small way. This small action could be as simple as making one phone call, writing a single sentence, or just getting out of bed and making your bed. The key is that you're doing something, and that action, no matter how small, disrupts the feeling of stagnation. Taking a small action can create a ripple effect. Once you take that first step, you'll start to feel a sense of momentum. That small action will build your confidence and remind you that you can make things happen. It may seem insignificant at first, but it's often the starting point for much larger progress. By taking one small step, you prove to yourself that you don't need to wait for everything to align perfectly. You can create movement even in uncertainty. Sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that every decision or every move has to be huge and impactful to matter. But in reality, it's those tiny, seemingly inconsequential steps that compound and lead to significant change. The key is to break things down into manageable pieces. When you're feeling stuck, you don't have to solve everything in one go. Just focus on one thing that you can control and move from there. And here's the most important part. Taking one small action builds momentum. It starts to shift your energy, shift your mindset, and most importantly, shift your belief in yourself. The more you take those small actions, the more your brain starts to associate action with progress. And before you know it, those little steps turn into bigger strides. So when life feels heavy and you're not sure where to start small. Take one step, no matter how minor it seems. Once you do, you'll find that momentum follows, and suddenly everything doesn't feel so impossible anymore. Your inner dialogue has a far greater impact on your reality than most people realize. The thoughts you constantly repeat to yourself shape your mindset, which in turn influences how you feel and what you do. When things aren't going your way, it's easy to fall into a pattern of negative self-talk, thinking that you're not good enough, that things will never improve, or that you're just unlucky. But here's the truth. That voice in your head is not always telling you the truth. It's shaped by fear, doubt, and past experiences. But it doesn't define who you are or what you're capable of. Changing your self-talk begins with awareness. You need to catch yourself in the act. Start listening to the stories you're telling yourself, especially when things feel difficult. Are you constantly thinking, this is impossible, or I'm not cut out for this? These thoughts may feel automatic, but they are just that, thoughts, not facts. Recognizing them for what they are is the first step in changing the narrative. Once you've identified the negative self-talk, you can begin to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me, or is there evidence to support this? In most cases, you'll find that the negative thoughts you hold on to are based on assumptions or past failures, not your true potential. Instead of thinking, I'll never figure this out, reframe it to something more empowering like, this is tough, but I have overcome challenges before and I can do it again. When you change the way you talk to yourself, you begin to reshape your belief system. Positive affirmations can be incredibly powerful when used correctly. You don't need to force yourself to believe them right away, but the more you repeat positive statements about yourself, such as, I am capable, I have what it takes, or I can handle this situation, the more your brain starts to rewire itself. Over time, these thoughts will feel more natural, and you'll notice that you approach challenges with a more confident, resilient mindset. It's also important to be kind to yourself. So often, we are our harshest critics, and this critical inner voice only adds to the weight of our struggles. If a friend were going through a tough time, you wouldn't berate them for their difficulties. You'd offer support, encouragement, and empathy. You deserve that same kindness. Practice speaking to yourself as you would to someone you care deeply about, especially when things aren't going well. Changing your self-talk doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It's about shifting your focus from defeat to possibility. It's about recognizing your strengths, your potential, and your capacity for growth, even in the toughest moments. The more you practice positive self-talk, the more you'll believe in your ability to navigate challenges, and over time, your reality will begin to reflect the strength, resilience, and possibility you've been telling yourself all along. So when nothing seems to be going your way, remember that it's not the end of the road. Life will throw its challenges, but it's how you choose to face them that will define your journey. Acknowledge where you are, shift your focus to what you can control, and take one small step forward. Change your environment when you need a fresh perspective. And stop blaming circumstances or others for things you can't change. Embrace the pause when you need to breathe. And most importantly, change your self-talk to reflect the strength and potential you truly possess. You have everything you need to get through this, even if it doesn't always feel like it. The key is to keep moving forward. No matter how small the steps may seem, remember, it's not about avoiding the struggle. It's about how you rise from it. And with each small shift, each moment of self-compassion, and each positive action, you'll find your way through. You are capable, you are resilient, and you are stronger than you think. So take that next step and keep going. You've got this.